Hello, Vemma team, BK Boreyko here. Welcome to this month's Message of the Month. Really, really special one because we are going young on this Message of the Month with a 20-year-old, Kailey Warren, brand new as of how many days ago?
2 days.
As of 2 days ago, brand new ambassador. I mean,
That's weird. It's happening.
All right, since you're kind of meeting the world of Vemma for the first time for a lot of people, let's tell them a little bit about your story because I tell your story. Working back, if you go, you've been in the business 17 months now.
Yeah.
You met a guy, where were you working?
Axis Sports Shop.
Axis Sports Shop, a skate shop.
Yes.
Okay, so you were a skater girl, and you were making how much an hour?
$8 an hour.
$8 an hour. So the story is true.
It is true.
I'm glad. I'm glad because I tell it over and over again. So a kid walks in. What is he? 21, 22?
He was 22.
And what was his name?
Alex Morton.
That rings a bell. I've actually heard of him before. And he is going. And I remember this because he was almost a platinum when he walked in. He was almost a platinum, and I was taking him to North Carolina because. Brad Alcazan said, hey, this kid's got some major potential and he could really let us open up this whole youth market. And so we were going, I had to go down to North Carolina to do a regional event. I think Brad and Alex both came. So he was looking for some luggage, actually a backpack. And so tell us a little bit about the encounter.
It wasn't really, special to me at the time because I thought nothing of it, but the crazy part is that he was actually walking out of the skate shop because he did not find what he wanted, and I stopped him. I said, "Did you find anything?" Because I was trying to win the competition. We were having competition. Whoever could sell the most. Okay. I won, but I never got that paycheck from my boss. But yeah, so he was walking out, and I felt like I needed to go talk to him, and I helped him find the last backpack in the store. And I think he's going to bring it to convention and wear it on stage to be funny, but it's those little moments that change your life.
It's seemingly insignificant.
Yeah.
All right.
Freaks me out.
All right, so he, now, the part of the story that I love is that from that moment where you met him, what was his approach to you about Verve?
He slid his business card across to the cashier. He said, call me if you want another job. And it was perfect timing. I promise this was just fate because we were closing down 3 days later. I said, wow, I'm going to need another job. I should probably call him. So I took his number down, texted him right away so he could have my name. But, he tried to meet up with me 4 times before I actually met up with him. I kept
over a
shooting
period
him
of
down.
6 weeks.
6 weeks,
yeah. So he you hear the expression that the fortune's in the follow-up.
Yeah.
But imagine how many people you encounter that because you don't follow up, because you don't persist, that potential ambassadors are lost. And so it takes a period of 6 weeks from that sliding of the business card till you actually sit down with them. He's got to contact you 4 times, got to reach out to you 4 times. And no offense, Kailey, but you're just a girl making $8 an hour in a skate shop. I mean, if you were to really kind of chart out what the best type of prospect would be for this business, I don't think a skate shop $8 hour employee would be the top of the list. And yet, Alex, to his credit, stuck with you. And the lesson that we can all learn from this is don't let these potential elite, potential ambassadors go undiscovered because you don't follow up with them. To Alex's credit, he didn't prejudge you.
No.
All right, and so you got in the business 17 months ago. Were you just a rocket ship out of the gate?
No way. I
Tell
was
us about the
struggling.
beginning.
Oh my gosh, I almost quit a few times because I wasn't introduced to Bob Proctor, Eric Thomas at the time.
So you had no personal development?
No personal development, nothing. And I think that's a huge key in this is, developing yourself before you develop your business. Because if you go into something and you're not prepared for it, you're going to fail. Like Alex always says now, and I heard this in a network marketing video, is a plane, it takes a lot of effort to take off, but it's not going to use all that effort the whole time. because it has to glide over, and once it lands, that's when you hit pinnacle or whatever we have. And that's what this is about. You develop yourself in the beginning. You work really, really hard to find your team, to find the real people that want this and who are genuine. And after that, you're just coasting through. Of course, we work hard day to day, but the beginning, the first 90 days is the most important. And I wasn't really into it the first 90 days, and that's why I was doing nothing.
How long did it take you to cycle?
Ooh.
Because Alex, it was
months.
63 days for him to get his first cycle bonus of 20 something bucks.
I think my first time came in after 4 months.
Okay, so you 4 months into this thing and you cycle for the first time.
Yeah.
Another thing that we need to get better at is having people understand that it is a process. To get that jet, I like that analogy, off the ground, you got to put the throttles off. You can't go, half throttle and expect it to get airborne. You're going to run out of runway. And before you run out of runway, you got to have the throttles down and be full out on this business and realize that it is a process. It takes you, especially in the beginning, to like practicing. You're getting better at it. You're getting better to telling the story. You're not using your story because you didn't have a story in your first 4 months. Whose story did you use?
Alex's.
Alex's story. Okay.
And that's what I tell everybody else.
Yeah?
Yep.
Okay, so 4 months in, you cycle for the first time, and that's 13 months ago. That's a year ago. Okay, so how do you go from cycling once to cycling 500 and how many times? The rank advancement period closes today. What do you think you'll close out at?
I'm at 593. I'll close at 620.
So, from cycling once 13 months ago to 630?
Yeah.
Oh, you're on your way to star.
I know. It's all my team.
All right. So how do you take us through this part of the journey where you're going from the first time, can you cycle once, you can cycle 100 times. If you cycle 100 times, you can cycle 1,000 times, like Josh Noble just did yesterday.
Yeah,
Cycled over
congrats on that.
1,000
That's
times.
awesome.
So take us through this journey here. How did you, in the beginning, what was your days like? What did you do? Where'd you find your people? And then tell us a few stories about some of the real great producers on your team.
Well, the thing is, in the beginning, that's the hardest part. And a lot of people don't understand that. That's why a lot of people fail at this. They don't want to put the time in. They don't want to put the effort in. They would like to sleep and party more than they would like to do this. But until you're to a point where you're comfortable and you know what you're doing, you got to sleep a little bit less. You got to miss out on a few things. And that's what I did. I was going to school, I was in a sorority in the dorms, and going to Arizona State, so I was at a university, and I just wasn't balancing right. I was taking my sorority more serious, I was, hanging out with my friends more, but then Alex came to me and he's like, look, winter break's over, we better do this 100%. And I just looked at him like, you're right, why aren't we doing this 100%? Because if you don't give me 100%, you don't give Alex 100%, it's kind of like you're not even doing it. Because this business is fully based around people. This is a people business. All my teammates are basically family. I don't treat them as a business partner. I treat them as family. And that's what Alex also taught me, is the relationship comes before, your business. And that's what we're doing with this whole thing, is when I started, my first month I was making money, I realized that I had to show up every day. I didn't show up every day the past 4 months, but I drove 30 miles from Gilbert, Arizona to Tempe, Arizona, every single night, whether I brought a new person or not. And I think that's what really got my motivation going, my passion going for this, was I was looking at people going from 0 to 100 a month to 500 a month to 1,000 a month. And then I started seeing myself do the same because I was following the right people at that time. Because before, I was following my friends who were making $8, $9, $10 an hour, and that wasn't going to get me where I wanted to be. So in the past 13 months, my days changed dramatically. I'd do about 10 to 15 Skype or calls a day, show up to at least one event. I'm traveling every 72 hours to help my teammates, and that's another thing that I think has taken me from 0 to ambassador, is focusing on your team. If you don't focus on the team, the business won't build. And it's not just because, it makes me more money or I get to travel more. It's because I want to see somebody go from 0 to where I got so I can watch it. Because I haven't even looked back yet. I don't want to look back and, reflect on it. I want to watch all my team members do that. Like Tyler Tashiro, Brett Boucher, Diego Avila. I want to watch all these people go from where I went, from the beginning to where I am now. That's the coolest part in this. It's amazing what type of people you meet, the network you have.
Tell us those. You mentioned 3 of your leaders there. Tell us
Yeah.
a little bit about each one of their stories.
Tyler Tashiro, he actually inspires me. He's younger than me, lower rank than me, but he inspired me to do this for the right reason. Because at first, we all know you're in it for money. You don't have a why yet. You don't have a story.
Which is not a bad thing.
Right.
Okay.
And that's fine. Do this for the money. But when you get, down the road to where you're making really good money, it's more of doing it for other people. I'm retiring my dad in the next 6 months. I see him once a month right now. He shouldn't be working at the age of 60, and I don't think it's fair for anybody else's parents to do that. So that's why I'm doing this. And also, it's good to wake up and not worry about it, to not worry about money. I used to, worry about going to lunch with my friends because I had $5 in my account. And that's just a small issue, but that reflects on, the person you're going to be is how hard are you going to work to not worry about money? How hard are you going to work to help other people, get out of their situation? And that's probably the coolest part to me is watching these people.
So what's Tyler's why?
Tyler's why is to retire both of his parents. I'm really close with his mom, and she came to me crying one day saying, "Thank you for changing my son's life." Same with Alex and Brett, because this will change your life. It's not going to change only your bank account, only your personal development. It's going to change your life.
All right, so Tyler's got an incredible why. Tell me about Diego.
Diego, I've met him about 5 times, and every time I've met him, he's, developed himself in a more professional way because he went from riding his bike an hour through the snow to go work at a hotel, and now
Are you making these stories up?
No. That's why I do this. All these people
I just heard the walk an hour in the snow every day story. All right.
It's insane. But he did that for about a year with his dad, and now he's supporting his family with Vemma. And that's
How old is he?
He's I think he's 19.
Yeah.
Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Boy,
Sorry, Diego.
Incredible.
All these young
and what rank
people.
is he?
He just hit star executive.
Wow, at
Yeah.
19. All right, tell me about Brett.
Brett, we go way back. Like I said, met him in kindergarten. He gave me a necklace, thought it was meant to be, but now we're meant to be business partners.
Did you give the necklace back?
No, I still have it. When we hit Pinnacle, we got to look at it again.
Okay.
So, I met him in kindergarten. We were just, high school friends, hanging out with everybody, went to church together. And then finally one day, he came to me about the business. And now he's actually training a bunch of people around the world for this. He does trainings every Friday, personal development, and that's key, like I said. He has trained so many people into who they are today in these past 3 months. He has worked so hard, and I actually just got a text from him that he hit Star Executive 2 hours ago.
Wow.
And that's the coolest thing.
That
It's
is great.
Amazing.
So you got some really good quality leaders.
I do.
And I have to tell you, especially because you're a woman, it's tougher for a young woman to build this business than it is a young guy, simply because you have got this inherent challenge of everybody wanting to give you their necklace.
Yes.
and how do you deal with that? I mean, we were at a Suns event once, you and I, and this is not, you can't make this up. The true story. You had prospected the valet,
Right.
and which I commend you for. But he texted you, and you said, "Look at this text," and he goes, "Yeah, I want to be under you." And tell me, how do you overcome those, and the young women that are listening to this story? What advice do you give them to, stay laser focused on the business and kind of slough the comments off?
Well,
and innuendo.
it is tough. It gets annoying. I know a bunch of the top female leaders, they can, go with this, but a lot of guys, when you give them a business card, they think it's just because you want to give them your number. But I am strictly building my business, and I tell them, you take me on a date, then come to a meeting, and we're good. So it's 1 for 1, but, sometimes it gets out of hand, and that's when, you delete them. But, you're going to come across that. Even maybe some guys have come across that from girls. It's not just girls, but get over it. People are going to flirt with each other, even in corporate America. You just have to get over it and pretend like it's not happening. And if they keep going, about the flirting, be like, you know what, you're not even worth it.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, so what advice do you give, young people, but those people that are young at heart? I mean, if somebody wants to tap in to this whole YPR movement, what advice do you start hanging out in skate shops and prospect the girls and tell them your story, or what do you do?
Well, when I go shopping, I like to go shopping. I always prospect the person, selling me something, because I think about it, and that's what happened to me. Mm-hmm. It doesn't work every time. Sometimes it does.
It's like planting seeds.
It does, yeah.
Sometimes the
some
birds get the seeds. Sometimes they
leave them.
They take off and grow.
That's true. So every time I go anywhere, whether it's shopping or to, a cousin's birthday, anywhere you go, you always talk to people. This is called network marketing. This is not called don't talk to anybody marketing. That's what this is. And that's all you have to do is talk to
marketing.
people. Or not work marketing. Oh, I like that one better. Not work marketing. This isn't work to me. Talking to people has always been something I do. I got kicked out of a bunch of high school classes for talking, so obviously I was made for this, for talking. But yeah, if you're going to prospect somebody, just cold market, just be real with them. You cannot lie in this business. I know a lot of people have gotten caught with that, saying they're making this much and they're not. You have to have proof. And that's what this company is. It's genuine. You have to be real with the person and just tell them your story. If I was making $2 a day with this, I would tell them that, but I would be passionate about it because it's something I want to do and help them do. You cannot, you cannot lie with someone, especially if they're cold market, because they don't know you anyway. So that first impression, if you ruin it, that's all you have.
All right, so going back 17 months, you're making $8 an hour working in a skate shop. Today, how much? What's your biggest month, or what's your biggest week so far? And then tell me your biggest month.
$4,500 for the week.
$4,500 for the week.
And then,
is that more than $2 an hour?
Yes, it is. It is.
I don't have a calculator, so I can't figure it out.
Yeah.
And so what's your biggest month?
My biggest month, I think it's going to be this month.
Yeah.
I've already hit 16,000 this month.
Wow, I am proud of you. And by the way, here's my disclaimer. Your results will vary. Those you don't always get. You could do better. You could do worse. How's that?
You could do better.
Could people do better than you?
Absolutely.
Yeah. You know what I like right now with these young people is they all want to beat Alex. I mean, Alex is kind of like a marked man.
Tells me
Can
that.
you believe it? I can't. They're like. I love the competition. And so if I'm somebody that's looking to tap into this YPR movement, and I like to shop, and I'm talking to sales people, whether they're guys or girls, I'd tell them your story. And I would say, I just heard this story about this 20-year-old girl that went in 17 months, went from $8 an hour. So what would you make in a week at $8 an hour?
$100.
$100?
I work like a day.
Okay.
So that specific day Alex came in, timing.
I know. So you went from making $8 an hour to making $4,500 a week in 17 months. And what I like is, I knew you back probably 8-9 months ago when I first met you, and you have developed into such a leader, into such a great communicator. I know you talked about personal development. What advice, what avenues, if somebody's listening to this saying, hey, I want to develop myself into the leader so that my paycheck can come close or surpass $4,500 a week, what are you reading? What are you listening to? Is the YPR radio podcast important to you and your group? I mean, give us some guidelines here. Send us in a direction.
The podcasts are amazing. I watch those on planes all day. I watch everybody's.
Would a prospect be good to hear them?
Oh, yes.
Yeah?
They get to see it, rather than reading a wealth book, they can actually see somebody's life change. But obviously behind the scenes are the wealth books and YouTube videos. But the podcasts are very, very helpful, especially to my people. It actually, my podcast, somebody posted on my page, and I got about 2 people that are very interested because they saw that. Oh. So I think they like seeing the lifestyle and hearing the story, but the personal development is very key to this. Most people in my life have never read any wealth books. They read out of a textbook. So what I started doing is I started reading, Think and Grow Rich. I'm halfway through that. Robert Kiyosaki, one of my favorites. And just really watching YouTube videos. I'm a very visual person, so sitting there reading is a little bit hard for me. So I watch a lot of ET. I've probably seen every video. Jim Rohn, anyone you can name in network marketing. I've seen it all. I just go through it on the plane because I obviously have 4 hours of sitting there. So why not change my life while I'm sitting there? Everybody else next to me is playing solitaire.
Absolutely. Hey, there is a podcast that you can get called TED Talks, TED, TED Talks, and they got great topics, inspiration. They're about 18-minute power talks. But there's always some great topics here. Obviously, those that are listening to this on CD as they drive around, they are listening to it because they are members of Success Club. If you're not a member of Success Club, go to vemma.com/Success Club. For $10 a month, you can get a subscription to Success Magazine. You get a couple CDs, book reviewed, personal development books reviewed on CD, so you can listen rather than having to read. And you get this message of the month. And so for $10, which includes shipping, coming to your door every month, giving you, feeding you. You know, my dad used to say the biggest challenge that he has with people is that they spend more money on the outside of their head getting their hair done than they do on the inside of their head feeding their brain. And the great thing about people your age is they are conditioned and still conditioned to read because they're in school and they're reading all the time. And I remember growing up, my father, the first book I ever read when I was a kid was The Magic of Thinking Big by David Schwartz. He paid me $10 to read that book and give him a book review, which back in those days, probably like $50 now. But to be able to be feeding young people's minds with positive books like that, you know, I think that from a business standpoint, my favorite business book is The Starbucks Story, Pour Your Heart Into It, the first book that Howard Schultz came out with. Incredible book on business. But anyways, hey, just wrapping this up here, Kailey Warren, new ambassador. How do you like the sound of that?
It's unreal.
Isn't it unreal? And now tell us, okay, before we wrap it up, you said you almost quit 3-4 times.
Yeah.
Take us through that, because maybe somebody listening, somebody watching is at that point in their Vemma career, or is feeling frustrated. Tell us what happened to you and how you got yourself out of it to where you are now.
Well, Bill Gates said that, you know, you're going to lose all your friends in the beginning, and then you're going to gain millions plus them back, you know, once you succeed. And I didn't know that. You know, I was losing friends because they kept calling it a pyramid scheme, too good to be true. Haters, yes.
So even you had haters?
I still do.
Seriously?
Yeah, of course.
Really? Even when you drive up in your new BMW with your name on the
that makes
dashboard?
them even more mad.
Really? Like my dad used to say, better you mad than me mad.
Exactly. If they have a problem with it, I'm still having fun.
There you go. All right.
But yeah, you know, I lost a lot of friends in the beginning because I was...
And that's hurtful. You know, we joke about that, but
It
is hurtful.
I'm a woman. I mean,
no, but
it's
I mean,
emotional.
even anybody. It's like, you know, when somebody rejects you, not rejecting your business, but they reject you.
Yeah.
It is hurtful. And how did you not let that? You know, my dad used to say, when somebody tells you no, and you let that affect your attitude, what you're doing is you're taking your future out of your hands and you're putting it into the hands of the person that just told you no. And so how do you pick yourself up and carry yourself on to the next appointment when you face that kind of rejection?
It was hard in the beginning. You know, I didn't really have amazing confidence, you know, just coming out of high school, going to college, didn't know what to expect. But, you know, I started hanging around Alex, I started hanging around Josh Noble, Brad Alcazin, and I realized that since they were sticking together, why would I not stick with them? And once I started hanging out with people who were successful and surrounding myself with those types of people, that's when my business took off. And then the people that I found started sticking around us. You know, it's crazy. It's called a team and a family for a reason. You know, you have each other's backs, and that's what I think really got me over that. When I was about to quit the first time, we didn't have any meetings. We didn't do anything. You know, it was one-on-one, just like how I met up with Alex. He slid a brochure across the table and said, "Hey, this is Verve. Try it. It's good."
That was his presentation?
Oh, yeah. It was great. So
humble beginnings. Now he talks so fast.
I know.
I mean, it's like he's on Bold. It's a bold presentation.
It is.
All right. So, you know, because when 4 months to cycle, what 6? Where were you 8 months into this thing?
I think I was gold.
Gold. Okay.
Yeah.
So, you know, so halfway into your career, you're gold. You fast track that another 8 months, and you're ambassador. It's
That's
it's
insane.
that multiplying. I'm telling you,
It's
and you're on
duplication.
your way to Star Ambassador. So, what last words of wisdom do you have for the team listening? What advice could you give them if you were sitting here and you were sliding your brochure in front of them? What advice would you give them?
I would say, you're going to see this again, whether you do it or not. We're going to make sure of that. But I would say just try it out. And if you try it out and you're not succeeding with it yet, keep going, keep pushing through it. It took one girl, Devin Arnold, 13 months to cycle, and now today she's going to hit star executive. So it's really up to you. It's in your mind. It's all mindset to me. Like Bob Proctor, he's a big mentor in my life. Watch personal developing videos. Watch everything you can to help you out. That's what I did. That's what Alex is doing. Alex gave me a few books. BK gave me a book. I read everything people give to me because I want to be where they're at. And that's all you have to do is take advice from people who know what they're talking about and who are where you want to be. I would never take advice from my mom making $40,000 a year. I'm probably going to listen to Brad Alcazan or Alex.
On business stuff.
Yes, yes, my mom's amazing. She helps me every way. But, business
Just
standpoint.
giving mom props.
Yeah, love you, Mom.
All right, and now, and in 2 weeks, you're going to be talking in front of 6,200 people for the very first time in your life at our convention in Las Vegas. Thoughts?
I'm excited.
Yeah?
The more we can, share with people, the better. Are you going to make me ride out on a skateboard? Keep hearing that.
Wouldn't that be cool? All right, guys. Hey, is that it?
That's good.
You have just been introduced to our newest ambassador, Kailey Warren. Team, Vemma team, BK Boreyko, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. If you're not a subscriber of Success Club, Vemma.com/Success Club, invest $10 a month into your brain, into your future, into your personal development. It will pay you 1,000 times over. So that is it. Keep up the great work. I am proud of you. Bye for now.